I never believed in miracles, until I saw a warrior defy an entire town, for a girl they left to die. That voice belongs to little Elsie, who watched it all from behind the barrels of her father's general store, peeking through the slats, too scared to speak. She was only 11 then, but that day would burn itself into her memory forever. It was the day that honor stood taller than hate, and love proved stronger than iron chains. It began in the town of Mercy Hill, a name bitterly ironic. Set deep in the Montana Territory, Mercy Hill prided itself on two things: its booming trading post and its unyielding laws. Justice here was swift, brutal, and rarely fair. And for a girl like Clara May, the daughter of a drifter and a half-Metis mother, the town was never merciful. Clara had lived quietly on the outskirts, helping her mother sew leather pouches and beadwork they sold to trappers. Her laughter was light, her hands always moving, her heart too kind for a world so cruel. But when her mother died from winter fever, Clara was left alone, and alone in Mercy Hill was a dangerous place for a girl with mixed blood. They said she was a witch, a liar, a thief. But the truth was simpler: she was poor, different, and had nowhere to go. The accusation came suddenly. Widow Reynolds, the mayor's sister, claimed Clara had stolen her silver locket. No proof. No trial. No chance. She was dragged by her hair into the town square, where the sheriff, who wore his hatred like his badge, ordered her chained to the center pole, the same one used for branding cattle and lashing outlaws. They called it public shame. She was to remain there for 3 days without food or water. In winter. As a lesson. Snow fell gently that first night. By morning, her lips were cracked, her eyes swollen from wind and weeping. Townsfolk passed her by, some throwing rotten vegetables, others just looking away. But someone didn't look away. His name was Taka, a young Lakota brave with eyes like storm clouds and a silence that roared louder than thunder. He had come into town that week under truce, hoping to trade buffalo hides for medicine. No one wanted him there. The tension was thick, held in place only by the fragile agreement between the Lakota and the settlers, an agreement that forbade interference in town justice. Taka saw Clara that second morning, slumped and shivering, her wrists bleeding against the metal cuffs. Her face was no longer recognizable from bruises and cold. But her eyes, they still begged. He didn't speak. Not yet. He simply watched. And the moment he turned away, Clara closed her eyes. Something passed between them, wordless but certain. That night, a storm rolled in. Snow pounded the town, and thunder rattled the windows. While everyone huddled in their homes, Taka slipped silently from his tent outside the town's edge. He wrapped his bow in deer hide, tied his father's knife at his waist, and carried a bundle of hot stones in his pouch. He broke the law that night. Taka moved like a shadow. He passed the sleeping guards, stepped over the snowdrifts, and found her barely breathing. He knelt before her and whispered in Lakota, "Not tonight. Not like this." Clara's head tilted weakly. She thought she was dreaming. With one strike, he split the chains. She collapsed into his arms, and he cradled her like sacred ground. By dawn, the square was empty. The town erupted. The sheriff cursed the Lakota, demanding war. But the Lakota chief, an elder named Red Cloud, stood tall and said, "If one girl's life breaks your peace was never real." The tribe refused to return Taka, sheltering him in the pines. Weeks passed. Clara lay hidden in a medicine lodge, between life and death. She spoke little. Ate less. But Taka never left her side. He brought her river water cupped in his hands, tucked elk fur around her shivering frame, and told her stories of the sun spirit, of thunder beings, of his own sister who died young and was never forgotten. Slowly, she healed. And slowly, she smiled. It wasn't love at first. It was trust. Something rare. Something powerful. But word traveled fast. The town offered money for Taka's head. Bounty men came with rifles and spurs. Red Cloud said the tribe had to move deeper west. But Clara, stronger now, with fire in her voice, said she would go back. To tell the truth. Taka tried to stop her. "They'll chain you again," he warned. She touched his face. Let them try. Clara returned to Mercy Hill on the back of Taka's horse, riding straight into the square. The townspeople watched in stunned silence as she stepped down and shouted, "I didn't steal anything. And you almost killed me for it." The sheriff came forward, red with fury. "You come back here with him? You expect us to listen to a half-breed and an Indian boy?" But before he could order her arrest, little Elsie stepped from behind the barrels. Her voice trembled. "I saw Widow Reynolds drop her locket in the alley. Clara didn't steal it." A hush fell over the crowd. The sheriff looked around, eyes darting, realizing he no longer had control. That day, Clara didn't run. Taka stood behind her, and the truth stood taller than guns. The chains in the town square were torn down. That pole was never used again. Years passed. Mercy Hill changed. Slowly, stubbornly. A Lakota-run trading post opened just outside town. Mixed families began to walk the same roads. And one summer morning, under a sky so blue it looked like freedom, Clara married Taka by the river where the white birches grew tall, and peace finally felt real. Elsie, grown now, told the story often. She would say, "They tried to shame her with chains. But he broke more than iron that night. He broke hate. And built love where it never dared to live before."